Yes, he is. I haven't seen him since I started here. What are you going to do? That's right. Goodness gracious.
No, we got No.
Good place for you. Good place for you. I'm sorry, I should put makeup on top of my head. The glare.
5:30. Now ready for the regular meeting here at 6:35. This time, I'd like to welcome everyone in the audience. It's good to see all the young people especially, and those that are going to be receiving recognition tonight. We'll hear about those just in a few minutes, but before we open up, I'm going to ask us all to stand and offer a moment of silence and ask Mr. Price to lead us in prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First time we approve the agenda, we also approve the consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda. So moved, second, Mr. Price. And I'll be repeating the motions tonight because we have someone who's taking minutes remotely tonight. So the motion was made by Mr. Iverson and seconded by Mr. Price. All those in favor signify by saying aye. The agenda is approved as printed. Next on our list is public comments, and we have no one on the sign-up sheet for public comments on agenda items. And we'll go to a public comment on non-agenda items later on in the meeting. This time, communications from the Director of Schools.
Good afternoon, Board, and also welcome to everyone here this evening. It's good to have everyone in attendance. I have a few announcements to make, and then we have some recognition that we want to have this evening. First one is, I would like to say thank you to all our schools as they honored our school board over the past couple of weeks. And we did have one late arrival that you'll see in front of each board member. But these posters came from Miller Perry, and I could not believe the resemblance that our Miller Perry students had of our board members. So please, board members, this evening, as you leave, please take your poster with you, because they are certainly prized possessions. And if you didn't have an opportunity to look at those prior to sitting down, please take some time and look at those. I think they have done an outstanding job. This week we celebrate Read Across America Day, and many of our teachers and others, we have visitors coming into our schools to read to our students during Read Across America Dr. Seuss Week. That is a very enjoyable time, so thank you to all of our schools for those invitations. On March 14th, we will be having pre-K and kindergarten registration. We look forward to those days when we welcome our new students, our future students in our school district. Most notably, possibly not the most notable, I'll get to that one in a minute, but spring break is coming at the end of March, March 20th through the 24th. And as we return from spring break, we will be entering April, and that is our biggest time for budget. It's also our time for testing. Our students have worked hard, our teachers have worked hard all year, and it will be here in just a few days. I guess the most notable announcement I have, and you all don't have to have too much applause, but we will be out of school tomorrow for an inclement weather day. We just haven't had much bad weather this year. We did spend a significant amount of time today reviewing some situations within the county. We did have some roads that are closed. We also are expecting some additional rainfall later this evening and also tomorrow, as around the time that school would be dismissing. So with those things in mind, we will be closed tomorrow. At this time, I'm going to leave my seat and come down as we have some special recognition this evening, and this is the most exciting part of our program at every board meeting each month. This evening, the first young lady that I want to recognize is Miss Jenna Hare. And I'm going to ask Jenna if she'll come up here and join me. I want to talk just a few minutes about Jenna. Jenna is a basketball player at Sullivan East High School. She is a senior this year. Unfortunately, she'll be moving away from our school district, but fortunately she's got a very, very bright future ahead of her, not only in her accolades as an athlete, but also her accolades as an outstanding academic student. So we want to congratulate her tonight on many things, but most notably tonight we're going to talk about her athletic achievements here in Sullivan County. Jenna has been for 2 years an all-state athlete in basketball. 2 times Conference Player of the Year, 3 times All-Conference, 3 times All-Northeast Tennessee First Team, 4 times All-District, District Tournament Most Valuable Player, and the 2022 Northeast Tennessee Female Athlete of the Year. And we're not finished. The year's not over. There are other honors that I feel sure will be coming her way. I want to also say that Jenna is the highest scoring male or female basketball player in the history of Sullivan County Schools. Don't leave. That's a huge honor. As I think about that, and I think about the number of athletes who have come through this school district and played basketball over the years. Of course, I probably have the edge on many of you because I've been around a little bit longer, but Jenna's dad and I always like to talk about athletics when we get together, and we have a long history, but I can think of some very popular names throughout the history of this school district, but coming back, knowing that this young lady has scored over her 40 years in the history of Sullivan County Schools, 2,570 points. So, this evening, I've changed it up a little bit. I could hand her a certificate, I could hand her a plaque or something to hang on the wall, but I think with everything I just said, she's probably got a lot of that. So this evening, she's getting cookies. And I don't think they're too bad of a gift. Hank and Beth, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're lucky, you might get to taste one of these cookies this evening. But has her number. She wears number 23. I don't know if that's because of someone that she knows or someone otherwise, but do you want to share that with us?
It was the jersey my coach gave me my freshman year.
Well, certainly we want to say congratulations to Jenna. We also want to say good luck and best wishes moving forward. And, we're just very thankful that you are a product of our school district. And thank you for being here tonight. I would like to ask her mom and dad to stand up, Hank and Beth. I don't know, do you have other family here tonight? Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. The next two athletes, again, that I'm going to recognize are two of our winners who qualified and attended and have competed at the state swim meet. So first of all, I would like to ask Madison, and then I'd like to ask Avery as well. Madison and Avery from Westridge to come up. Where are they? Here's Avery. Did Madison come? Okay. All right. You've grown a little since the last time. How much have you grown in the last 6 months? A couple of inches, I think, more than that. Okay. Well, thank you for being here tonight, Avery. This is Avery Paget, who is on the swim team at Westridge High School. And most notably for these two athletes is both of them qualified for the state in 2 events, multiple events, and that's very difficult. Avery qualified in the 100-yard backstroke and the men's 500-yard freestyle. Did I get that right? He made the second team all-conference for his time in the 100-yard backstroke and also third team all-conference for his time in the 500-yard freestyle. How was it going to the state tournament and competing in swimming?
It was different than I'm used to, but it was fun.
Very good. Well, we want to say congratulations to Avery and Madison as well. Madison's got some cookies. I don't know if I trust you to take them back to I'm going to give you cookies as well this evening. You got those? And I would say congratulations to Avery. Avery's not graduating, so he's got some more time to improve and go to the state tournament again and probably grow another. All right. Thank you. The next group that I want to recognize this evening is our girls basketball team from Central Middle School. This team has amassed a lot of honors over the course of the past 2 years, but this past year in particular, they finished their season with a 28-1 record. They were preseason tournament champions. They were regular season conference champions. The Area 1 AA tournament champions, and they were AA Eastern State Sectional Final Four. An amazing accomplishment, and over the course of the past 2 years, these young ladies have a record of 52-5. So, without further ado, we're going to meet these young ladies and their coaches. So when I call your name, if you'll come up and join me, and then I want you to line up across the front. How about that? All right. Addison Bunn. And they're sitting there, and I know they were going, oh, I hope we get cookies too. You do get cookies. Reese Hazelton. Where's Reese? Millie Shelton. Miss Anna Flannery. That's okay. Addison Roberts. Ask you to come right here, Addison. Finley Taylor. Emily McLaughlin. Miss Adeline Massey. Miss Jasmine Jones. Miss Lindsay Pritchard. Miss Riley Arnold, their manager. Well, Matthew, I know you're going to enjoy this. Mr. Coach Matthew Bryant. And the head coach is Johnny Morlock. And he isn't here this evening. But what I would like to say is to this young group here is, first of all, what a beautiful group of young ladies. Thank you all. We appreciate you being here tonight. We celebrate your athletic achievements. We celebrate what you're doing every day. Central Middle School. You're outstanding students, out setting the example for others to follow. So congratulations on an amazing basketball season. I'm sure you had a lot of fun, right? And I hope you enjoy your cookies. Thank you. It's always important to acknowledge those that support these young men and women. So I want to go back and I want to ask Avery's mother to stand up and thank you, Miss Paget, for supporting your son and making sure he gets to and from all those practices and everywhere else he has to be. I'd also like to ask our parents and our families here with our Central Middle Girls basketball team to stand up so that we can applaud you all as well. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of support. And thank you all for being there to provide that for all these young athletes. The next group that I want to recognize are our Teachers of the Year. Each year we select Teachers of the Year, a Principal of the Year, and a Supervisor of the Year. The Teachers of the Year are selected at their respective school, and then all those recipients go into competition with others across the district, and in the end there is one selected. So this evening, the first person I would like to recognize is our Elementary Teacher of the Year from Emmett Elementary, Miss Ashley Mason. Our Middle School Teacher of the Year, Mr. Shay McClure. Shay is our STEM teacher at Sullivan Heights Middle School. Our High School Teacher of the Year, a repeat performer, Miss Crystal Wallen from Westridge High School. Crystal is one of our math teachers at Westridge. And they're going to remain up here with us as we continue. Our Principal of the Year hails from Rock Springs Elementary, Miss Alicia Dinsmore. And last but not least, our Supervisor of the Year is our Assistant Director of Schools in Sullivan County. She is over curriculum and instruction, and also our Safety Supervisor, and that is Miss Angela Buckles.
Oh, no, I keep up.
They'd rather have cookies. I can't say enough about these educators, leaders that stand in front of you. They give their all. It's not every day is an easy day. Not any day is an easy day. It's challenging every day that you get up and you come to work. Most days you're not sure what to expect. You plan and you think you know what's going to happen, but sometimes it just doesn't go that way. So It is an honor to celebrate this man and these women. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you all for everything that you do for our students. Avery, will you see Madison by chance? That's okay. It's okay. Chairman Jones, that concludes my comments to the board with the exception of just saying, you know, these are always really good times during our board meetings when we can recognize those that achieve to the highest levels. And I'm very, very proud of all those young men and women. So thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations to all those that have achieved these honors tonight, both teachers and students. This time next on our agenda is the unfinished business. Item number A. This time I make a motion for the board to amend the contract for Chuck Carter with the start date of March 27, 2023. We said initially in the contract that any days he work would be on a per diem basis. What I would make a motion for tonight is to bring him on board on March 27th. That's the week in Nashville that week, several days that week with Mr. Rapkowski. Mr. Rapkowski will remain as director through June the 30th. Mr. Carter will be director-elect for lack of a better term, and he'll be on board with us for 3 months if you approve this motion, and he would receive the salary as stipulated in his contract on a per diem basis. He would be under contract full-time, and all benefits would start on March 27th. Should I get a second on this motion? The state of Tennessee has agreed to release him with a 2-week notice, I believe. Is that correct, sir? And at this time, I make that motion to amend his contract at start date of March 27th with stipulation that Mr. Rapkowski is the superintendent of schools until June 30th and should be filling all those obligations to that. But it's important that we bring Mr. Carter on board to work on the budget, and I'm going to talk more about the budget in just a few minutes. But if we
Can I ask a question prior to it, to make sure,
let's go ahead and get a second and bring up a question. Do I have a second on that motion? Mr. Robinson seconds the motion. This time, I'll call for questions.
just want to make sure, because at first when we start the 2-year contract, we talked about if he came in early, that would be in addition to the 2-year contract.
Yes.
So are we amending the 2-year contract to start on March the 27th, or?
His contract still starts on July the 1st.
Okay.
I'm on board. He's fulfilled the duties as director-elect, and that's a term I used back early on, and I don't know if it's a correct term or not, but he's basically a director in training for these 3 months. But his contract is a 2-year contract that starts on July the 1st and goes up through June the 30th of 2025, I believe.
No more questions.
Other questions? And roll call, Ms. Buckles.
Mr. Hughes?
No.
Mr. Ireson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Dr. Rouse?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
I'm going to repeat the motion because we do have someone taking notes remotely for official record. The motion was to amend Mr. Carter's contract with the start date of March 27th, and the motion passed on a 6-1 vote. This time I'll turn it back over to Mr. Rapkowski.
The next item on the agenda agenda is item 6B, policy 5.310, vacations and holidays. We discussed this at our last board meeting. It was on first reading. Tonight, I recommend that we adopt this policy on second reading.
You've heard the recommendation from Ms. Rotowski that we adopt this policy on second reading on vacations and holidays. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Rouse. Do I have a second? Mr. Price seconds that motion. Any questions? Any discussion? If not, roll call, Ms. Buckles.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Dr. Rouse?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Item 6C is the next item on the agenda, and that is First Christian Church of Bluff City. They have made a specific request of the board in regard to the utilization of their facility parking area. We have entertained all the information that we could find on the history of that going back to 2004. And at this time, I will turn that back over to Mr. Jones.
Back in 2004, there was an agreement between the church and the school system that we would provide money to them to allow us use of their parking lot, and of course, that money they used to pay the parking lot. Tonight, I'm looking for a recommendation to enter into a lease with them to continue the use of that parking lot, and we would have to reach an agreement with them as to the amount of money. It's not for the purpose of us paving the parking lot, even though that's probably what they would use that for, but it's very important that we have the parking space, be able to use their parking lot, parking space for Bluff City Elementary School, especially the side that's close to the school itself. So I will entertain a motion to this effect, word any way that you might want concerning negotiations with so forth. Just a motion to enter into some type of lease proceedings with Christian Church.
I'll make the motion, sure.
Mr. Hughes makes the motion.
I second.
Second by Dr. Rouse. Now for discussion.
So we're going to have a lease, and how, who are you, the executive committee, going to meet with the church and decide the amount, and then we vote again, is that correct?
Yes, it would have to come back to the board for a vote, and I would ask you if you want to amend the motion to authorize us up to a certain amount to do that, or wait and bring it back. The last two times we've done it, 2000, to provide that service. At that time, we were providing the service for Bluff City Elementary and also Bluff City Middle, but Bluff City Middle is no longer involved with it, so it was $15,500.
I just want to correct what you said. I know what you meant, but you said 15,500 a year. And
I'm sorry, $15,500 for a 20-year period. $15,500 for a 20-year period. That was, I'm glad you're listening to what I'm talking about. $15,500 for a 20-year period, and the lease itself, it wasn't necessarily a lease, but it was an agreement. What we're asking for here is to make it an official legal lease, where they would have to be responsible for making sure that the parking lot was in good shape and ready for us to use. So Mr. Hughes made the motion, and Dr. Rouse seconded the motion, and Mr. Rotowski and I will negotiate with them about term of contract, and I recommend 20 years again if we can, and then bring it back to you for a vote as far as the actual amount.
So you're not limited to that 15,000?
No, I just give you the background of what for $15,500 for the 20-year period, not per year.
As we all know, the price of paving is double, so I don't think we should expect that price to
No, and I would caution all of us about this parking lot is needed for the school system. There's lots of churches around most of the schools, but this is one that were without parking spaces available for our use. It would be tough on parents being able to pick up students in the afternoon, and especially for night programs and things of that nature. So it's because of a real need that we need to enter into that lease agreement so we can come year to year. And if that's not worked out, then we would have to look at some other options. We have a motion, we have a second, any further discussion?
I would also add that since our last meeting, I went down during school and I went down after school. We fully utilized that parking lot, and the condition of it is in need. Their assessment of it was accurate that they gave us, that you gave us last week.
And this is just one parking lot, we're talking about, there's two parking lots next to the church, one's on the left side is where the middle school use, and one on the right side, I guess, would be the where elementary use. This is the real inside only. Talking about all this agreement, not doing a lease with the other parts. Any other discussion? Not, roll call, Ms. Buckles.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Dr. Rouse?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
Item 6D on the agenda is the Sullivan Heights Pool. We continue to work with the vendor to try to get some more definite information there as to what the estimate will be. We did discuss that in our work session, and it was the feeling of the board that we table that for right now until we get some information back, some more concrete information back from this vendor and something in writing. So that will continue to be an agenda item, and hopefully we will get some written, get a written estimate on that project very soon. Item 6E, Henry Hart Road property. We do have a surveyor that has been working, reviewing that property, surveying it. Currently, what we're being advised is that we will have the farmhouse and garage will be one lot, and to the right of that house is enough acreage for another one, as well as to the left will be another lot. So we potentially could have two lots that are vacant land lots, and then one lot that has the house and the garage on it, that we will be entertaining the possible sale of that in the future. We should have the results of that survey next week. Item 6F, ESER 2.0, I am asking and recommending to the board that we go back as a result of the facilities assessment of Sullivan East High School, and that we go ahead and move forward getting bids on the renovation of the science labs at Sullivan East High School, which would entail the removal of the cabinetry, the current cabinetry in those labs, as well as sinks, faucets, the hoods, and do an upgrade on all of those utilities within those classrooms. So at this point, I'm asking the board to support that we go back and go through the process of obtaining bids in hopes of being able to utilize ESER 2.0 monies for that particular project.
You've heard the recommendation that we put up for bids the East High School Science Labs as it was identified in the study by Dean West and architects that presented to us further on. We'll have a motion to that effect. Mr. Spivey makes a motion, second by Dr. Rouse. So the motion is to advertise for bids for the East High School Science Labs to replace all the cabinetry and everything that's needed there within. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Buckles.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Dr. Rouse?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
And Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Item 7A is policy 5.117, the procedure for granting tenure. This policy is on the March board meeting for first reading and first reading only. This is a cleanup more than anything on this policy to alleviate some of the paperwork that was included in it. It doesn't change the procedure as far as state law goes. It just changes some of those items that were being required at the local level that will no longer be required. Again, that is on first reading, so it does not,
Just curious, when does that tenure process start? Will we have time to change it in April and still be meeting the time?
yes, we generally bring our tenure list to the board in May and sometimes in June, so yes, there will be enough time.
First reading.
It's first reading and there's no vote needed. Item 7B is the math textbook adoption. First, what I would like to say there is we have had some very dedicated teachers from elementary, middle, and high school who have been here for some long hours in the afternoons reviewing math textbooks. This is not always an easy process, but I applaud them for the way that they have handled this process and the conversations that have occurred during this adoption time. And I see Robin Jones sitting back there, our math consultant. I want to say thank you to her. She's done a great job coordinating and leading these groups, 3 different groups, the elementary group, middle group, and the high school group, through this process as they went through the selection process. And I also see Julie Matney sitting with her, and thank you to Julie as well for her contributions to this process. But our teachers have done a very, very good job, and I look forward to their selection and us moving forward. If the board so does support this adoption, the law in Tennessee says that we have to go through an adoption process. Does not say we have to purchase, but we do have to adopt. In this case, it has been since 2016, I believe, since we purchased new math textbook materials. That is because the state has delayed the adoption process, and this is the first time since then. For elementary, the elementary has chosen Eureka 2 for their adoption. The middle grades and high schools for 6, 7, and 8, Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and Geometry, have selected the vendor, and the book title is Tennessee Math, with the vendor of Big Ideas Learning. So at this time, it is my recommendation to the board, via the recommendation of all 3 of those committees, that the board vote in the affirmative to support this selection.
You've heard the recommendation from Mr. Rapkowski concerning the adoption of math textbooks. We have a motion. Motion by Mr. Hughes, do I have a second? Second by Dr. Rouse. Discussion.
I have a question. Maybe I missed it, but did you say that the Big Ideas was passed to high school as well as 6, 7, 8?
6, 7, and 8, that is the vendor, Big Ideas. Big Ideas Learning. I'm going to give that to him up there. He can have mine. In fact, let me switch that, Mr. Hughes. Let me give you a blank.
And my understanding is all teachers had an opportunity to review the options at first school level, even though they were not on the textbook committee. And that's very important for them to have that opportunity. Any other discussion? Not, roll call, Ms. Buckles.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Dr. Rouse,
Yes.
Mr. Spivey,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Ireson,
Yes.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes.
I'd like to add to that as well. Dr. Rouse is the board member who serves on the textbook selection committee, and I want to say thank you to her for her attendance and her attention and dedication to this process as well. So thank you, Dr. Rouse. Item 7C is a budget amendment. This time of year, we start seeing budget amendments come through as we're cleaning up our budget. These budget amendments come to you from account 71-300, which has to do with career technical education career exploration grant and expansion grant funds. Item number 2, 72,620, which is the maintenance and plant budget. Item number 3 is again 72,610, and this is the operation of the plant budget. And lastly, item number 4, Series 72,710, that is within the transportation maintenance budget, and I recommend approval.
You've heard the recommendation of Mr. Alfalfa concerning the budget amendments. Do I have a motion to approve? Mr. Spivey makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Price seconds the motion. Any discussion? Roll call, Mr. Eaglers.
Dr. Rouse,
Yes.
Mr. Spivey,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Iverson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0 to approve the budget amendments. And before we get into public comments, I did pick up another one from Avery. So Avery, we need to be prepared to make your comments when we get down to the non-agenda items. And I'll call on you just a minute. But before I do that, earlier in the meeting, we approved Mr. Carter's earlier start date. And part of that is to start working on the budget process as he'll be taking over on July the 1st. I want to remind you that 2 years ago, we worked very hard to update teacher salaries. We call it the Teacher Salary Equalization Plan by taking a look at the salaries for surrounding areas, including Washington County, Hawkins County, Johnson City, Kingsport, Bristol, and Sullivan County itself. And we looked at all the various levels there. Last year, we made an effort to look at some of the reclassifications of the support staff and made some effort, especially with part-time people, because they had not been getting credit for their years of experience that they had. This year, we are continuing that effort to take a look at the surrounding counties. I know that we did get, I think each board got a letter from support staff members, or from some support staff members talking about that. And it included the salary schedules for Kingsport, Johnson City, and Sullivan County. We hope to look at Hawkins County, Washington County, to take a look at those also. The problem with support staff is hard to break it down on categories because everybody's in a different category in different school systems, where teachers are not. So we're working very hard on that this year. Mr. Alfalfa is working on revising the pay scale. We finally got it to where we have, I think, about 10 levels in the pay scale rather than the 20 or so that did exist. We'll continue to work on that. And I know there's a lot of support staff people here tonight who appreciate your being here. But I want to assure you before there are other comments on this that the work already underway to take a look at the categories in different places. And it's not as simple as saying a teacher assistant in Bristol makes the same as a teacher assistant in Sullivan County. That's some of the easier ones. It's when you get into the other classifications of how someone classified, especially in some of the other sectoral areas, bookkeepers and so forth. So we're trying to analyze some of those and come up with a revised pay scale, looking at all the surrounding areas. And we will listen to public comments that we made a little later tonight. But before we do that, I want Avery to come up. I know he's going to speak on the pool, and I had overlooked his form there on the Avery, you know the routine, so come up and give your name. We've got your address listed here, and let us know what we need here.
Hello. I'm Avery Paget, currently a sophomore at Westwood High School, and I would like to again emphasize the importance of promoting swimming in our area by advocating for the repair of the current swim facilities at Sullivan. This not only will provide an athletic outlet for our current students, but it promotes health and well-being along with water safety. As to recent happenings, our swim team was able to successfully host a swim camp for younger students interested in swimming in January. That is one small step towards creating a feeder program for our high school swim team. And a more important step would be to have the support of the board in repairing and maintaining our current facilities. Announcing an official middle school swim team and providing coaching staff and transportation in the future. I'm asking you to make this commitment as the swim season, our next swim season starts in late September. I understand that the repair cost for the Sullivan Heights pool could be at least $200,000, as the pool still has many original parts. This pool is, in my opinion, nicer than the Sullivan Central swimming pool, and I hope to see the repairs approved. In a prior board meeting, it was stated that it was difficult to find teachers and staff willing to become lifeguard certified. Based on past conversations with our swim coach, I think looking to our swim coaches to lead the charge would be a good next step toward resolving the issue. Also, finding middle school swim coaches could be potentially challenging, but talking with our current swim coaches may provide a solution, and they may even be willing to coach both teams if they were compensated. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adrian. Next up, Jonathan Fields.
Good evening, board members and Mr. Rafalowski, Director Rafalowski. Thank you all for giving me an opportunity to speak to you. I do want to speak to you this evening with regards to our support staff wages. I've been asked to read the letter that you received. I would like to do that, but and I guess I've been asked to read it because according to the fourth graders at Indian Springs Elementary School, I'm a pretty good reader. And I think that may have something to do with it, but
I just told somebody else to book those.
do tell. But, my grandmother was an educator, and every year, for years and years and years, she taught public school for over 40 years, doing the tough work that many of our teachers do. And I remember every year at Christmas time, my grandmother would make treat bags of homemade candy that she would make. She'd spend hours making those pinwheels, and I would hope that she dropped one on the floor so I could blow the dust or whatever off the floor so I could get one, because that's the only way I would get one. And some of the bags were bigger than others, significantly bigger than others. And I can remember asking my grandmother as a kid, what are these smaller bags for? Those are for the teachers I work with. Well, what are these bigger bags for? Well, this big bag right here, that's for the school secretary, because she really takes care of me. And these other bags right here for the plumbers and folks that come and work on my classrooms. And finally, these biggest bags right here are for our custodial staff that make sure that things work for us. And as a kid, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But as I've worked in education longer and longer, it kind of makes a little more sense to me. And I think it ties into the letter that I'm going to read. If you'll indulge me, I know you've read it and looked at it and studied it and thought about it, but I was asked to read it, and I'm going to do that, please, if you don't mind. We, the support staff members of Sullivan County Department of Education, come to you again to request your support in helping bring the support staff employees some financial stability. This can be accomplished by providing us with fair market-based salaries for our positions and experience. We've attached a study of neighboring school districts that Chairman Jones spoke of. It's been increasingly difficult to put food on the table with the salaries being rendered to us by the school system. The support staff has been overlooked numerous times throughout the years and given some hope with false promises. The board gave a 1% rate pay raise in the 22-23 year, and that was appreciated. However, the insurance rates went up to the point that some support staff members made less money at the end of that year, even with the raise. The $1,000 bonus, thank you for that. It was greatly appreciated, and they consider a positive step in the right direction. But without some restructuring the support staff pay rate to a more livable rate, these employees are struggling to support their families. As you're aware, the Department of Education has had some difficulty hiring support staff and having them stay due to some pay issues, low pay. We feel that an increase would be beneficial in hiring more and qualified employees. We are respectfully requesting that you honor the promissory commitment you made to us 2 years ago. We're also requesting that a substantial increase to the hourly pay be given to us as you did the teachers, which was well deserved. These are trying times, and the living cost the cost of living is astronomical, and is respectfully submitted by support staff members of the Sullivan County Department of Education. Thank you very much for indulging me in reading that letter. Thank you for your consideration of this. We all know this is tough. It's all about the money, and there's just only so much money to go around. But this is something I'm very passionate about as a principal. They're the movers and shakers in our school system. We know that our teachers do hard work. We know that other professionals do hard work. But our hourly employees are in need of your attention and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fields, and as I said earlier, that issue is being looked at very closely. We don't know what the budget's going to be, and there's no way to know. We have our word for at least studying it and looking closely, and we'll be looking at, we sent Kingsport and Johnson City, I believe, along with Sullivan County. We'll be looking at what information we have from Office County and also from Washington County, because that's what we did when we looked at the teachers, and try to put some comparisons there. And some people are already up equal with Bristol in some categories. I know if you look at that very closely, you'll see that other categories we're badly underpaid. I looking at that. $2 or so under the hourly rate, but there's categories that's high. So percentage-wise, it may not be the same for everybody. We don't know exactly what the proposal will be, but I want you to know that we are looking at each individual assignment, not just by saying 5% of this or 5% of that. The $1,000 bonus last year, for some, that was more than 5% pay raise. For others, it was not. So we're trying to find a way that we can move forward and keep everybody on solid ground, both teachers and the support staff. And we recognize the value of our support staff. One of those other categories that out there that we're probably overlooking, substitute teachers and so forth, we've not been in with those yet. But we know the value that each of you have for us and for the kids. And that's what it's all about. And as we prepare the budget this year, we'll be looking at what monies we receive from the county commission. We'll be looking at what monies we receive from the state. As you know, there's a new funding formula out this year from the state, and we're not exactly sure how all that's going to work. Mr. Alkowski has been to meetings, and Mr. Carter is ready to go to some meetings on that. He's been involved in some of the other areas. So we will be looking closely at what is available and what we can do. Also understand that those who are federal employees or title teachers, anytime that we look at basic salary, we have to find the money within the title money or within the federal money to pay for that. And sometimes that means cutting out supplies and so forth. And we're looking at that. We're looking to see if we can find the money out of those programs, because some of it can't come from general purpose. Some of it has to come from the federal money that we receive from the government itself. If you have thoughts on those, feel free to send me an email on it. I may not respond to the email if I get them wrong, but I will file those away so that we can look at the details that you're seeing. And we appreciate the letter you sent. I wish you had signed it, because that way I had no way of knowing who to contact until Dr. Fields got up and made it tonight. I assume some people have talked with you, Dr. Fields, but as far as talking to me individually, I've only talked with 1 or 2 people individually. But if you have some category that you're interested in us taking a look at, feel free to do that. We did try to make that move last year, especially on the assistants, because those people cannot receive a raise for their experience from the time that they were employed all the way up through last year. And we've got that part resolved. Doesn't mean salaries are going to need to be, but our next step is to look at those salaries and try to make adjustments where they need to be made. And we'll make every effort to do that. We're ready for our comment from the board members. Mr. Iverson.
Just want to start by saying to everyone that came out for the teacher assistant and staff, support staff, thank you for coming. Thank you for the letter. We did read it. We did look into it. I know Chairman Jones is right. We're looking at it hard, and we're going to try to do everything we can. So we know there's a problem. We're trying to help it out. Then this was, before that, this was one of my favorite times. Anytime we have students come out and teachers come out, that was great. So, this Jenna here, that's fantastic. Here's somebody that's such a record in Sullivan County. That's pretty awesome. And then congratulations to the teachers and Ms. Dinsmore and Ms. Muckles. Congratulations. That's it.
Dr. Rouse.
I'd just like to reiterate what Mr. Rapalowski said with the math textbook adoption. Thank you to all the teachers. And it wasn't just those teachers that came in and met, but going back and sharing with the other teachers at the schools. You all teaching lessons out of the book so that you really had a feel for it, and knowing whether or not this was the direction we wanted to go. So it's not a matter of showing up at the meeting and voting. It's hours that go into that as you look through the books and try to make a choice, because you know that choice is going to be there with you for a long time. So everybody wants to make the best choice possible, because you will have that book for a very long time. So I myself just want to say thank you for all the hours that went into that, for all the teachers that put their time in. Thank you.
Mr. Hughes. Well, first I'd like to congratulate all of our student athletes that showed up tonight and on their accomplishments. The record that the Central Girls produced was shocking. The future looks bright. I watched Jenna Harris score a lot of those 25-70 points from the time she was a freshman, and I go back 34 years on at East High School, and I saw a lot of great players. And to score 2,500 points is nearly impossible, and I suspect that record will stand a long time. Congratulations to our swimmers. They're young, so we're expecting big things in the next year or two, improvements. Congratulations to our teachers, our awards. I'm sorry. Hope you can hear what I said. But also, I have some legal issues I need to address, Mr. Chairman. That will take a few minutes. You can come back to me, I can do it now. Okay. For the last couple of months, I've done some research, and as it turns out, it is not legal for the county commissioner and the school board commissioner, or the school board member, to serve simultaneously. And I'm going to read to you the research, and Mr. Hull and Mr. Spivey, you guys may want to note some of these things and do your own research. Tennessee law is clear. It states that no member of the county legislative body nor any other county official shall be eligible for election as a member of the county board of education. That comes from Tennessee Code annotated 49-202A2. While this provision only explicitly addresses eligibility for election, the Tennessee Attorney General's Office has interpreted the statute as not just applying at the time of the election. Quote, state law prohibits a county commissioner from serving on the county school board. Refer to Tennessee Attorney General Opinion 08-96208. Moreover, the Attorney General's Office has stated that where a school board member enters into another county office while holding the office of school board, said individual becomes ineligible to be a school board member. See Attorney General Opinion number 00-138-2000. The Attorney General's Office further stated that such individuals must resign his or her position as a school board member if the individual wished to continue holding the office. Additionally, Sullivan County School Board has a policy already in effect prohibiting simultaneous service on the Board of Education and the County Commission. Policy number 1.102 provides that no member of the county legislative body or any other governmental official shall be eligible for election as a member of the County Board of Education. So under both Tennessee law and local policy, there can be little doubt that an individual cannot serve simultaneously on the Sullivan County legislative body and the Sullivan County Board of Education. There are three remedies, three options for, one, the first option is resignation. To resolve the issue for a dual board member, the commissioner could opt to resign one of the two offices. The second, the lawyers should probably be familiar with the term quo warranto action. That's a Latin term that means by what authority. It's a common law remedy used to challenge a person's right to hold office. For example, bringing a writ of quo warranto. If a dual serving member is not willing to resign from one of the two county offices, a quo warranto action could be pursued to remove the member from office. Tennessee Code annotated 29-35-101 provides that an action lies in the name of the state whenever any person unlawfully holds or exercises public office or franchise within the state or any corporation created by the laws of the state. These actions are known as quo warranto actions, and Tennessee courts have held that they can be used to oust ineligible members. Only the state of Tennessee can typically bring such action questioning a current office holder's qualification to hold office. Refer to Snow versus Pierman, 436 SW 2D 861 and 863, Tennessee, 1968. The suit is brought by the Attorney General's Office, the District Attorney, or County when concurrent. Tennessee Code annotated 29-35-109. However, an individual may also initiate such an action, providing information and giving security for cost of the proceedings. Refer to 29-35-110. In certain instances, individuals other than the Attorney General who have special interest in the matter may proceed individually or in quo warranto action, but a more thorough analysis of the issue would be necessary. Refer to Tennessee Court Appeal 351, July 2019. The process of quo warranto action proceeds like a suit in equity, as any court may enter into injunctions to effectuate a ruling. Tennessee Code annotated 29-35-112 and 29-35-113. At the conclusion of the action, the defendant office holder, if it is a judge who has held the office unlawfully, the courts enters into a judgment excluding the defendant from holding the office and ordering the defendant to pay costs of the lawsuit. Refer to 29-35-116. Option C is ouster action. Alternatively, the Board of Education could request that the Attorney General, District Attorney General, or County Attorney initiate ouster proceedings against a dual serving member. Tennessee's ouster statute provides every person holding any office of trust or profit under and by virtue of any laws of the state, either state, county, or municipal, except such offices that are constitutional, removable only and exclusively by methods other than those provided in this chapter, shall knowingly or willfully commit misconduct. The Attorney General and a District Attorney General or a County Attorney within their respective jurisdictions may also initiate the ouster process on their own initiative. That's Code annotated 847-102. However, anyone may initiate a complaint in writing to any of the aforementioned officers stating that an office holder committed any of the acts or omissions set out in Code 847-101, and the officer in receipt of that complaint would have the duty to investigate. If the officer finds that there's a reasonable cause to believe that the office holder committed such an offense, the investigating officer must institute proceedings to ouster the office holder. An expedient trial process will follow as described in Tennessee Code annotated 847-101. During the pendency of the proceedings, the officer bringing the ouster action may suspend the officer holder, and the vacancy must be filled, bringing just as described below. Filling the vacancy, of course, we know how that works. if you, I'm going to read just a real short version of the three opinions. The first one is opinion 08-107 by Tommy Kirby. We next consider whether state law prohibits the service in question. We note the Tennessee Code annotated 49.2-202A does prohibit a county commissioner from serving on the county school board. While the individual at issue is a member of the city council, he is not a member of the Berea County legislative body. Consequently, this statute places no restraint on the service in question. In other words, in that case, it was city and county. Next, we consider whether common law prohibits the service at issue. There's a well-recognized common law prohibition against a public officer holding two incompatible offices at the same time, referred to Little versus Slagle, 115, Tennessee 336. Also, the question of incompatibility, I'm just reading the highlighted version portion. The questions of incompatibility of necessity depends on the circumstances of the individual case, performance of the duties, whether one interferes with the performance of the other. An example, an inherent inconsistency exists where one office is subject to the supervision or control of the other. Next opinion is Tennessee, Randy Rinks, Tennessee opinion 00-138. Neither a member of the county legislative body nor a county official is eligible for election as a member of the County Board of Education. That refers back to Code 49-202A, subsection 2. Thus, the individual became ineligible to be a school board member when he is elected to another county office. Assuming the individual wants to retain his elected position as a property assessor in the state, he must resign his position as a school board member. Next Attorney General opinion is 08-96. Pertinent for no general state law expressly forbids a member of the city council from also serving on a city school board. State law prohibits a county commissioner from also serving on a county school board. That statute provides that no member of the county legislative body or any other official shall be eligible for election as a member of the Board of Education. So I know that Mark's not aware of all this, and it has been brought to my attention, and I did the research a couple of months ago, and I was trying to be really careful and make sure that I got it right. I think the board needs to be aware that the judge could find that some of the votes that were taken or motions were made could be undone. That's not likely, especially in cases where the votes were more than 4-3. But going forward, we do have knowledge now. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Robson?
I'm good. Just reiterate what everybody else said about the students. Congratulations to Avery and Jenna, Addison, and all the girls from Sullivan Central with that 52-5 record. That's quite impressive, especially when Mr. Price said some of them are in 7th grade. So, and then, you know, what keeps everything going, thanks to all those teachers and supervisors and staff, not just the ones who win awards, but the ones who go to work every day, and all you all that came out tonight and support staff, because if you all didn't show up to work, nothing would get done anyway. So we know that. I guess what I would say about money, Ellie likes to say is, you know, sometimes we just have to be willing to go to the county commission and look at the finances. If they're not there, sometimes that's what the tax rate's for. Remember, we live in a state with no income tax, so, you know, everybody everybody's scared to say that. I'm not. There's a difference between being conservative and being cheap. So I hope that you won't be scared to talk to county commissioners about that as well, because I'm certainly not afraid to say that out loud. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Dr. Fields, for reading the letter. We did get it. We all read it. And I trust, Mr. Jones did a ton of work on that last pay scale. We can all take credit for it, but it really should go to him and the director, and so I want to recognize that too. So when he says that, he means it. I think everybody does want to do something for you, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, sometimes that means we're going to have to get some more money in our budget too.
Mr. Price.
Just want to echo what Mr. Spud said. Congratulations to all you athletes. It's a great season. Swim team, Central, ball team, everybody involved. Great job. Like Matt said, we want to do what we can to help the sports staff. We got to have you. Y'all are the backbone. It makes the world go around. We appreciate it. Thank you for what you do.
Any additional comments? Again, we appreciate you coming out, and we're going to try to work as hard for you all as you all work for us. And Haley, thanks for sticking around, and I didn't see your feet down on the table until we got out here making so much to do with that you're going tall and all those things.
Can I make additional comment?
Yes.
About the pay. We're also aware of what inflation has done. You know, we were really proud to have been able to do what we did for the teachers. We weren't able to do it at that time with the small staff. That raise has almost been raised by inflation in totality. And I appreciate what Mr. Spivey said, because he's exactly right. There's a difference between being cheap and being conservative. I appreciate everybody that came, but the inflation factor is not lost on us either. And for those people who did not receive that raise then, we realized that you really kind of suffered double jeopardy. So, thank you, Mr. Spivey, for what you said.
The next board meeting will be on Tuesday, April the 11th. We moved that because Good Friday, April the 7th, and we're supposed to be April the 6th. April the 11th, on Tuesday, 4:30, and then regular meeting at 6:30. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Spivey, and second by Mr. Price. Meeting adjourned.
I